Hello. So just another video. Randomly. Had no idea it was going to happen. Just picked up my phone. Clicked on record. And I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but we'll just see what happens. So the message here, or what I'm talking about, is existence, being, this aliveness, this presence. And nobody knows what this is. It's incredible how this is not talked about all the time. I mean, in the story of my life, the imagined story, I've always wanted to know what this is. Again, in the story, in the imagined story. And I say imagined story because this just is. It has no past. It has no future, no beginning, no end. It just is. It just always is. So any thoughts or imagination of the past are just thoughts and imaginations that appear in this. But in the imagined story of my life, I've always wanted to know what this is. Even from a very young age. I do have a memory of a glimpse when I was a child. But again, it's just a story appearing in this. It is amazing how the imagination can create an apparent world and lots of different people and things going on, when there's actually nothing happening. And nothing's ever happened. So the imagination, thoughts, stories, ideas, it's so clever how it creates a timeline, a linear timeline of events, and pieces them together. And it can seem like there is time. But right now in your direct experience, nothing is happening. In your direct experience, you don't exist. There's no me character. Where is it? So all them apparent events of the past, or things that you're doing, or things that you need to do, you think that you need to do in the future, That's what I'm saying. That's how powerful the imagination is. It's not actually happening. There's just appearances, visual appearances, sounds, smells, tastes, if you're having a cup of tea, coffee, or a biscuit, feelings, sensations, touch, thoughts, or appearances in this. But all of them things come and go. They come and go. But what this is this doesn't move. It's always here. And you could say that this is what you are. This being is what you are. So it is amazing how the imagination can create this me character and create a story, yet nothing's actually happening. And I know to the majority of people, if you do speak to people about this, or maybe people watching this will ridicule, mock, will not understand this. And that's okay. That's just what's happening. But if you do resonate with this message, or you've had glimpses, or you've had a clear seeing, then it's obvious that this is everything. There's nothing outside of this. So I've been making videos for a few months now in the story, and it seems like these videos are being labelled as a radical non-duality thing. I mean, there's nothing radical about this. I'm not making anything up or teaching or giving advice. All I'm talking about is this. If anything, the imagined me character and all its stories is radical. It's completely made up. This is not radical, it just is as it is. In direct seeing, it's so simple. You know, I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong with being identified with an imagined me character. That's just what's happening. All I'm saying is that in some bodies, and it's happened here, there's been a realization or a liberation from an identification with the imagined self. You know, it's collapsed, dissolved, disappeared, whatever you want to call it. And then it's realized that it's never been there. It is an imagination. And if it is seen clearly, it's an absolute fact. It's undeniable. That's why, well, there seems to be a wanting to share this message. I don't know why, it's just happening. So any anything that happens, apparently happens, is not actually happening. So this isness is still silent. It doesn't move. It hasn't come from anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Yet, appearances can arise and disappear within it. You know, if an uncomfortable feeling arises, or uncomfortable thoughts arises, it doesn't seem that they last that long. They just come and go. But the imagined me character can grasp onto that feeling or them thoughts and you kind of create your own suffering. And it's being seen here now that you don't need to do that. That's not a pointing. There's no... Because whatever's happening is happening. So even if you're resisting the feeling or the thoughts by trying to escape it, then that's it too. Because you cannot escape this. It's always this. So whatever's happening is it. It can't not be it. It's impossible for this to be anything other than this. But the self, the illusory self, always wants this to be better, or it wants something else. It's never satisfied with this. And then it seeks. So the me character is always a seeker. When I say better, when I say the me character wants to make this better, I just mean that the me character wants it to change. Always, it wants something else. And that could mean something worse. This is what me characters can be like. Sometimes a me character will want the situation to be worse. You know, and that could be in a malicious way, because they want something worse to happen for another imagined person. But this has no characters. There's no stories. And it's amazing really how it just is. Like I said earlier, you know, I needed to know the answers. And I was, you know, what is this? Why are we here? You know, I think I've mentioned on a video recently, I went searching I've been down all the rabbit holes, conspiracy theories, religions, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, the Quran Bible, There's nothing to find. They're all wonderful stories, but they're all just stories. And it's such a liberation when the seeking completely stops. There's no more questions anymore. I mean, if anything, that's a liberation. There's a relaxation to that. And a peace and a contentment to this. So if you are on a path or a journey to get somewhere that's futile, any seeking is futile. Because it's only ever this. There's nothing to find. This is nothing, which appears as everything in plain sight. So this is what you're seeking. But it can't be found. How could you find what already is? And that's not to say that desires don't appear. Desire's okay. Or preferences. It's often talked about in non-duality circles about no free will and choice. I prefer coffee over tea. It's just, the body has a preference. It doesn't need you. It doesn't need a me character for that. I have a cat. I think I showed you my cat in the last video. My cat Sunny, and she prefers Whiskers, cat food. If I get her a different brand, I can tell there's a dislike to it, or she has a preference. Her favourite is chicken, though. She loves chicken. So animals, I think animals are a good pointer. Animals, are quite open to the fact that there's no self in an animal. Yet the animal's body will function perfectly. And it's exactly the same for a human body. There's no self in a human body, yet it'll function. Eyes blinking, blood pumping around the body, cells regenerating, breathing, all happening by itself. But it's amazing, isn't it, how in the imagined stories, thousands and thousands of years of great masters and yogis and spiritual teachers and practices, if there was anything to find, wouldn't it be easy? Wouldn't it just be out there by now? There's nothing to find. Nobody knows anything. Nobody's got anything. Nobody owns anything. It's all in imagination. But the me character doesn't like that. The me character, you know, in the story, I mean, in the imagined story, I have a nice home, car, career, wife, children, friends. But when the self is seen for what it is, an imagination, I was devastated. I lost everything. I cried for weeks. Because there's nothing here. That's all in imagination. Honestly, I was devastated. And but now it's seen more of as a liberation, a freedom. It's magical. It's an absolute joke. And that's where the phrase, the cosmic joke, comes in. Because the self's never been there. You've never had anything. That's the punchline. You've never existed. The self's never been there. This is timeless. Yeah, I can tell stories of the past. The imagined story, you can still play the game. But it's game over. This is the end. And it's the beginning.